If you're in hospitality marketing, this is something you've not seen before. What I'm about to show you is potentially one of Stampede's most powerful tools, and that's because it sits on top of our all-in-one ecosystem and brings together our table bookings, our loyalty cards, our CRM, our Wi-Fi, gift cards, everything. I'm very, very excited today to show you Stampede Workflows. I'm going to be going through a full product demo. I'm going to show you how to set up a workflow. I'm going to show you the types of triggers that you can use within the system. I'm also going to be showing you what our clients are currently using to make the most of workflows. And I'm also going to be showing or sharing some ideas to get started with workflows, maybe some different options to get off the ground with. Now, the ability to send and create workflows really chucks a few things out the window. Now, it says goodbye to sending impersonal messages to your customers because it means you can actually send messages to them based on the triggers they're making within the venue, or potentially they haven't been seen in the venue for a few months, so you want to send a trigger off the back of that. If they've cancelled a booking, they've ordered a particular dish, they've mentioned something in their review, a particular word, you might want to trigger or create a workflow off the back of any of those things. So things can be nice and personal going forward. Also says goodbye to these one-time automations. So if you're using birthday campaigns or a welcome to mailing list campaign, that's generally one email that gets sent out. That's kind of pushed to the side now that we can actually have a sequence of emails going out off the back of any of these triggers. And maybe the main thing is that we're now definitely going to say goodbye to opens and clicks as the main source of truth for your emails being successful or not successful. This has been going on for a while, and basically if you are relying on these metrics, they're essentially irrelevant in that we have bots going across all of the emails, clicking the emails, opening the emails, and it makes it really hard to track the performance of those. Now, given that we're in the hospitality industry, it's actually quite handy that we have something else that we can use to see if a campaign is working, and that is if someone has made a booking or not. So the way that workflows actually are set up means that you can have a particular call to action. So you send out an email to someone. If they make a booking off the back of that email, we might want to remove them from that workflow entirely so they don't get spammed with different messages. But if they don't make a booking or take a call to action off the back of that email, you might want to keep them in the sequence. You might want to see if there's an offer or a particular message or another reason they might have for making that booking, and you might want to spread those messages over time and wait to see if they make a booking. And if at any stage they do make a booking or take that call to action, we can then take them out of that workflow. So we're going to be jumping in. I'll share my screen and we'll have a little look at Stampede Workflows. So at the moment, we are now looking at, we're in a demo camp at the moment. So this is basically various venues within this one organization. We're going to go into marketing and go into workflows. So the one we're going to look at today, we can have multiple running at the same time, but we're going to be looking at this cancelled booking example. This is something that has come up quite a bit actually with our clients, and they're looking to basically have, it's an abandoned cart email. You might see this well or work well in e-commerce if you have filled your details in but maybe you haven't made that last payment, or maybe you've cancelled a booking, cancelled an order last minute. You will be entered into a workflow, essentially, a drip sequence of emails that get sent out to you to try and win back your business. This is what we have now in hospitality, which is really exciting. In that if someone has cancelled a booking, now the trigger I'm using specifically for this on the left-hand side is that a party size greater than 4, if they have cancelled their booking, we want to enter them into this workflow. And what I've also done underneath here is I've entered in various email templates. Now this is going to be the assets that I'm using to send out to the relevant customers. They can be created at the start or as you go, or you can retrospectively log back into this and change any of the messaging. But let's go through this example. So we've got a booking cancelled, and immediately after that booking's cancelled, I want to send out this let's rearrange email to that customer, trying to get them back in as soon as possible. Now, if within 3 days, we're going to listen out to see if they've made a booking from that email campaign. Now, if they have made a booking, lovely. We're going to basically send them a thank you email for rebooking, add a tag, and then end that particular workflow for that guest. So it might be they're removed, they're not going to see any more messages in this workflow. But if they've not, we're going to keep them in. I'm going to keep sending them some messages to try and get them to make that booking again. So shall we try again next week? We're trying to reschedule here for that particular guest. We're going to send that immediately after the 3 days. And then we're going to wait a week after that. If the particular customer has not made a booking within a week, we're going to keep going. If they have, okay, we're going to do the same thing, remove them. Now this can go on and on. So what if in the example here, if they've not made a booking in this particular email, we've got a deal, so it might be a voucher code that they're using within that email. And then we carry on. If they've made a booking within 2 weeks after receiving that voucher email, lovely, remove them from the workflow. If not, let's carry on, and we're going to send them a message about what our guests say. So this might be something along the lines of, okay, this is why our guests have been back in. These are the reviews that we've had. Come back in and have a good night with us, kind of thing. And if we wait another week and they've still not made a booking off the back of that, in this example, just so this isn't an hour-long video, I've ended the workflow there. Or if they have made a booking, we can basically take them out there and add them and add a tag as needed. Now, as you can see, this could go on forever. So we could have this going on for a very long period of time. The messages can be really, really specific, and any of these emails can be edited as you go. Now, the other example I'm going to show you here is actually one I've been working on with the team at Lane 7. So they are using this for birthdays. Now, I mentioned earlier this one-time birthday automation side of things. We want to create a longer workflow for that customer, just so we're giving the guest an opportunity to actually make a booking. So if they don't see an email 1 week, we want to give them multiple excuses to come in and around their birthday. So we've got a trigger here, which is an upcoming birthday, and we're going to send them an email 2 weeks out. And if they've not made a booking a week before, if they have made a booking a week before their birthday and they've used that email, then we're going to add a tag and we're going to end that campaign. We're going to use that tag again next year, because these are the customers we want to be seeing if they're actually interested in bookings around the birthday. But if they've not, we'll carry on here. So another email, if they've not made a booking a week before, we're maybe going to wait now a week after the birthday. And if they've made a booking, lovely, we're going to add a tag, end that campaign, and then we carry on here. So this is now a week after the birthday, and we can go on and on and on and on. So these offers, or the reasons for bringing people into the venue around the birthday, that's completely up to yourself. Doesn't need to be a deal, doesn't need to be a discount. But the fact that we can actually offer these customers a tailored message, and they're not just going to be bombarded over and over again around their birthday, even if they have actually made a booking, is a really nice option for us. Now, the types of triggers I mentioned before, there's a few of them. So there's cancelled, booking completed, created. If they've not been seen in a little while, if they've submitted a form, if they've got a particular tag, we can also allocate loyalty points for people at any part of this process. As I mentioned earlier, reviews are a really nice one. So if someone has left a particular sentiment review, or if they have mentioned a particular word within a review, say they've mentioned staff, or they've mentioned a particular dish within a review, you can have that as a trigger for a full workflow. I mentioned earlier as well the ability to link up the line items. So that's with a new integration that we're setting up soon with one of the payment providers. You can now basically choose what someone has purchased and then enter them into a workflow off the back of that to try and get them to come in to have that dish again, or maybe try a different one. So previously in the hospitality space, as you know, we've been hamstringed by the options that we have to communicate with our guests and to actually communicate with them accurately about what their interests are. But potentially for us marketers, more importantly, is that we haven't been able to actually see if the campaigns have been working or not. Which obviously isn't ideal. So this is basically going to give you as many options as you want. Instead of having to push different pieces of data together, push and pull different options for campaigns that you want to do, because you're kind of tight on the different types of email that you could send out off the data that you had. Now we're looking at a situation where we have almost too much data. So we have the full customer journey, we have reviews, their Wi-Fi interactions, we've got loyalty points, we've got everything, every data point within Stampede. We can now trigger a workflow off the back of that. And now the challenge is going to be for the marketers is trying to narrow down the options and creating tailored campaigns for your brand specifically. So a nice one here is, this is a live example of one we've created for the farmer's dog. Well, actually I should say they created it. They've got a bit of training and they came in and set this up. So they have basically looked at the venue. It's extremely busy, and they don't necessarily want people to make bookings off the back of an email because they have too many bookings, or actually that's one of their issues, but they want to drive people to their website. So we have booking complete or Wi-Fi session is the trigger, and then basically we're waiting for 9 o'clock the next day, and then we're pushing people to the website. We're seeing success off the back of this because we're linked to their Shopify account through the global API, which basically means that we can see if people are taking a call to action or not. Now, the nice thing about this is we're trying to surface as much of this as possible to make it, again, with everything we're doing at Stampede, as attractive to look at and as functional as possible. So we can see how many people are actually at each stage of this workflow. So in this step here, we've got over 2,600 people sat here, and then we've got 2,900 that have actually received the email. So there's a lot are waiting just for 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. We can look at runs, so this basically will look at all the people who are currently in that workflow, all of the data, if they've opened, clicked emails, etc. I know that's not their source of truth, but it is sometimes helpful to see if things have been delivered, and we can see all of our performance within here as well. So it's a really exciting time, and the options for creating workflows are almost endless. We are now testing this, as I say, with some of our biggest accounts and some of our individual sites who are having a really good go at this and getting very creative with it, and it's only going to get better and better from here. If you have questions on this, I'd imagine that there will be some that arise. Definitely just give us a shout. You can obviously contact Stampede or myself directly for a demo of what this looks like and if it would work for your business. Cheers.